Good morning, everybody. My challenge today is that I give this presentation 20 to 30 times a year, so many of you hear it. The challenge we have also is that in March, our data are from last year, so we try to bring something new to you today. So let's look at market trends, hurdles and opportunities, and let's maybe bring together new ideas on kind of strategy and alliance to move forward the market. My topic today is restricted to geothermal district heating. So, state overall where we are today in Europe in geothermal overall. 150 power plants in operation, 0 new power plants in 22, 0 new power plants in 23, 1 new power plant maybe in 24. 3.5 gigawatt installed, more than 20 terawatt produced. It means we are a baseload producer with more than 7,800 hours a year. District heating, we have more than 400 geothermal district heating systems in operation, and we have more than 2.5 million geothermal heat pumps installed. We expected much more development in the recent years. Now, 2022, the signal that we need to urge switching fossil fuel to renewable heating, especially to decrease gas from Russia. We expected a lot from the year 23-24. It's not happening. You could see that we had in Europe around 10 to 15 new geothermal district heating systems installed per year. In 23 it was 8. In 2024 I have not yet the data. It will release in the market report next month. So what is a lesson learned is that the growth is not accelerated yet. Some lesson from last year, some first conclusion from last year, what we have seen. A real year of constraint for the market for several reasons. The growth was not as expected, it was quite slow, and delay probably many projects from 24 to 25, 26. So, and we will try to see the reason why. The first reason is not due to geothermal. It's not because we are not competitive. It's not because we don't have a potential. It's mainly due to macroeconomic financial conditions with high interest rate, high inflation rate, low construction rate, low renovation rate of buildings. It's the main reason why we have seen a delay in development of more geothermal system. Some good news in electricity. The Turkish power market is back after 5 years nearly of no growth. Croatia, we expect a lot, many projects are in development. Germany, to see in electricity production. And we expect from Italy, but we expect from Italy for 10 years, so expectations are moderated. District heating, the issue will continue the same growth. 10 to 15 new systems per year. I was wrong in 2024. I have to recognize. I said in 2024 we will have a record number of wells drilled for geothermal district heating. It was a mistake. Why? Because it was the record number of exploration campaign. It means that wells will be drilled in 25, 26. In heat pumps, decrease in large market, still going in small market, but big issue is a completely unfavorable ratio gas-electricity, which makes gas too cheap to compete for geothermal heat pumps. So it's one slide. If you like this topic, I see many of you like this topic of exploration resource assessment. We have 4 to 5 pages in the next market report on where they are located, but record number of seismic surveys have been conducted. Already more than 6 has been announced in the last 3 months. We had more than 14 probably conducted in 2024. We are finalizing the mapping, and we had more than 10 done in 2023. A lot of investment in exploration has been done. With different business models, we will map them public, private. 3 countries are dominating, Switzerland, Germany, and France, but you could see it's happening everywhere in Europe: Hungary, Belgium, Croatia, Luxembourg, UK, Denmark, Norway, and Netherlands. 2 business models: local seismic survey, around 40 square kilometers, or we have seen a series, half of them are more regional survey, seismic surveys of more than 100 methods. We are mapping them. You will see a map where you can find these different exploration. So it means we expect a lot of development in the next 2 to 3 years in the areas where exploration has been done recently. Why? Indeed, we need to move from 2% to 25%, Paul. No? So how we can make it? We can make it because we have a lot of interest. I told you we have 400 systems in operation. We map in our market report over 460. We double the market. But how to double the market? Not in 10 years, but in 3 to 4 years. This is the challenge we have. From this map, you could see in Europe, district heating are based in different temperature levels, no? different basins. The trend is clear, is towards systems with lower temperature. We see much more systems lower than 80 degrees, no? Which was more or less one of the threshold we had in the different district heating systems all over Europe. We are seeing more systems combined with large heat pumps. It's another sector coupling possibility that Paul just mentioned from the Netherlands and over. But still, the big issue is that we are going to greenfield areas. We have probably tapped in the best resources today. It's true in France, it's true in the Netherlands, it's true everywhere. So now we have to go to greenfield areas. It's the reason why we have to do more exploration, to invest more in exploration. We have to tap everywhere in Europe, in all regions. So we need indeed to find both technical instruments but financial instruments also to go to greenfield areas. So we need to find some new business models. We have seen that in Denmark, for example, dribbling multi-wells, not only doublet, but dozens or 19 wells have been announced. Portfolio approach, so a developer having not one single project, but a series of projects. And dealing with not only buildings in district heating, but also greenhouses, horticulture, or the process heat industry. Innovation will be key. We hear this morning from IEA closed loop, deep geothermal, but it's not only the only innovation we see. We see a lot of innovation with single well technology. Recent project in Hungary, interesting to see. And new drilling design. You have some experts who will deep dive on that in the afternoon. So I will be quick on that. You find all this data in the market report. One challenge we will look at is that indeed what are the trends in the capacity of the different district heating systems. Historically, large capacity were due to combined heat and power plants. And you can see typically in high temperature fields, Iceland or Turkey. Today, what we see, large projects are in low to medium temperature fields, so with new business models. So we speak about lot of wells, multi-wells technologies, not only doublet, but 10, 15, 20 wells. And you can see the projects are more in Denmark or Austria. If you want, we can look at that step by step, but indeed, we have 3 markets dominating Europe. France, Germany, and the Netherlands. What is interesting is that these markets are dominating and still want to do more. Second analysis is that we see development everywhere in Europe. So it's not depending on resources. We are seeing development of geothermal district heating everywhere in Europe. 30 countries in Europe are developing geothermal district heating. So now, just look at hurdles and opportunities, but first look at opportunities. We have an important opportunity, which is what a colleague from IEA this morning reported is policy visibility. Something which was completely missing for geothermal forever, which is now happening in 2024 in Europe. 3 big momentum. Nearly all members of the European Parliament voted the report, we want more geothermal. Now you can see on 553, 531 is one of the records you can see in the European Parliament to have a majority of all countries and all political parties. Maybe you don't know this guy, but for us it's a key player in energy transition. It's the representative of regions. It's the Committee of Regions, representative of all regions in Europe. It's the rapporteur of the report that we want more geothermal. So the representative of citizens want more geothermal, the representative of the regions want more geothermal, and all member states want more geothermal. December 2024, all members of the European Union voted a report, we want more geothermal. Policy visibility is key. 2025 is also a good opportunity. I will just not come back to the IA report, but it's an important message for policymakers. President of the European Commission, von der Leyen, in Davos, said we have to invest in new generation of technologies, fusion and geothermal. Commissioner for Energy, Jorgensen, said we began in Europe energy based on coal and steel. The next European community will be based on wind, solar and geothermal. The message is quite clear for us. We want also to support that. So it's an opportunity. Policy visibility is not a detail, is important. But it's not the only thing we need. We want to move from megawatt to gigawatt. I took this graph from IA because it's a recent report. We have many of that. In Netherlands, you have a report showing the same thing. In France, ADB 2019, 22, 23, cost studies show the same thing. Geothermal district heating, when it's developed in mature market, is competitive. It's not a problem of competitiveness. Barriers. We list some barriers, and probably you know all of them. Now we need to come to concrete solutions. I think it's good that IA report mentioned we need to streamline licensing procedures. It was in December, we are in March, we have to come with clear proposals. So we remove market barriers and for competition. We are kind of with permitting authority, efficient, effective, and time-sensitive permitting. We have security for investors. We need to work more on public-private partnership and access to private capital. I will not come back to what was discussed. We need skilled workers. We need a pan-European de-risking financial instrument. Geological data availability, we can discuss that. It's one of the next slide. I mentioned again, we need to fix the gas electricity price ratio to have it much more favorable. It's not possible to tax more electricity than gas today. Heat purchase agreement is a topic to look at. So, to unleash barriers, let's go to some proposals. Now, we say we want to simplify permitting. How can we simplify permitting on geothermal district heating? Maybe you know all countries are asked to implement the Renewable Energy Directive, already voted in 2023, and to define what is called acceleration areas, reference Article 15, 16, and 17 of the RES Directive. What is an acceleration area? Is an area in a country where you do fast permitting. Fast permitting less than 6 months. Okay? So what is asked is to help countries to define an area which is all based on potential, all based on demand, because it's not obligatory that your potential, the best potential is where you have the best resource for geothermal, but it can be the best demand side. You have industry demand or cities demand. We need much more capacity building of authorities for one-stop shop. And there's not one single model. We have seen a lot of best practices. The issue is that you don't see one country looking at what happened in another country. And of course, in many countries, we need to reform the laws and the regulation. When it's done, you just have to replicate to other areas. You could see from this map why Spain is a white spot. Is because there's no resource or there's no data availability. There's no data availability. When we did this map, the data were not available. It's a map 2014. Just to tell you one issue. We are lacking availability of data. Without data, we cannot do better permitting. We cannot do any resource assessment. So, other barrier, financing. I think after 30 years, we know what is a de-risking instrument. Normally. No, we have seen several systems all over. We know more or less what to do. Of course, we can always improve. But we need to work on a proposal to have a pan-European de-risking instrument. I find it a bit strange for us that Europe established a de-risking instrument for wind before to establish a de-risking instrument for geothermal. I would not say that wind is a risky business, but I don't think we have the same level of risk in wind than in geothermal. So let's come all together as a sector to a proposal to make it. And we have a lot of expertise in the sector, how to define, how to design, how to come from a juvenile market to a mature market, or to come from a public scheme to a public-private scheme to a private insurance. We know what to do. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Funding infrastructure, it's a big issue. Why in geothermal setting, in many countries, the developer is funding the infrastructure, while gas infrastructure, hydrogen infrastructure, are paid by huge public funding. I think we need to come to this discussion on infrastructure funding. Security for investment, of course, we have to reform the state aid, but it's a bit technical. Support scheme, taxation, VAT regime. I think in France, you have some examples that you can maybe explain to the other countries in Europe. And business models, public-private partnership, it was recognized by the Clean Industrial Deal, by the new European Commission, is the next future. If we want to develop all these projects, we need a lot of capital, it was mentioned by IEA. We need public money for leveraging private investment. If not, we will not succeed. So we need to work on how we can do much better public-private partnership. Heat purchase agreement is for industries. How can we supply heat to industry for long-term supply? Like for power purchase agreement, we need to work on heat purchase agreement. So we have identified the hurdles. We know some solutions. How can we implement them? As EGEC, we work on two main topics, and hope you are joining us on that. We need the European Commission to publish next year a geothermal action plan. A geothermal action plan for Europe is how can we move from a niche market to a mature market. We need a mature market all over Europe. We need businesses all over Europe in geothermal. We are a made in Europe manufacturing. We are accelerating the energy security. We are a local source of energy. We are competitive. We ensure affordable heating, cooling, electricity for all. And we are contributing to decarbonizing 2050. So we need a target. We have in mind 250 gigawatt by 2030. Finance, I mentioned it, permitting. It's not only on district heating, we have permitting for shallow geothermal also, for geothermal heat pumps. We have to work on that. And for electricity, the value chain, we need more skilled workforce, but we need a manufacturing capacity also in Europe. Data availability, we have to work on that. It will not be easy to convince all stakeholders to make data availability, but let's work on hope for the best. Planning, especially at local level, cities, we mentioned that in planning. Tripartite contract is how can we facilitate with the European Commission all that. Once we have this action plan, we have to implement this action plan, and what we hope is the European Commission publish also the creation of a geothermal industry alliance in Europe. We are calling for that. Not only us, countries, member states in the Council conclusion ask a possibility to have a platform for extending best practices. In permitting, we will not succeed in streamlining permitting if we are not able to exchange the best practices, how to define an action areas, how to have better capacity building of entities, how to simplify the public-private partnership, exchanging best practices from Netherlands, France, Hungary, Germany, Italy, Spain will not succeed if we don't have this platform. So we are all calling for having an alliance. It's just a platform to work together to streamline permitting, to have better financing conditions, and let's see if we can also tackle issue of data availability and skilled workforce. And that's all. Thank you.